In this video of the Historic Ordnance series, we're going to look at the former Yugoslavian TMA-1 or TM-1 low metallic anti-tank mine. Now, I could not find the exact year these entered service, but going by its general construction, its appearance, the explosive weight, I'm going to guess this entered service in the late 1950s. It is listed in U.S. Army manuals from the late 1960s on mines that could be encountered in Europe during a potential confrontation between NATO and the Warsaw Pact. Even though Yugoslavia was not in the Warsaw Pact, it was a separate country from it, it still was considered a threat mine. Now, these mines are only found in the former Yugoslavia, and reportedly some have turned up in Tunisia. I don't have a lot of information on that. I do not find any information that these have entered Ukraine, but I wouldn't doubt that whichever former Yugoslavian country has been slipping aid to the Ukrainians, I got a feeling some of these probably ended up in there just to get them out of the arsenals and get rid of them. Now, technicals on this. Height is 4 inches. Diameter is 12.5 inches. Weight is 22 pounds, of which only 12 pounds is the explosive filler, and the explosive filler is TNT. Because of the low explosive weight, this kind of tells me this probably came out in the 1950s. Because I'm used to seeing anti-tank mines talking 20 to 25 or more pounds of explosive filler. The material it is made of is plastic. There is very little metal in this. The only metal content is in the fuse. The fuse that is used in here is a UANU1, also referred to as the UTMA-1 fuse. It is a pressure fuse. When it is installed in the mine here, the poundage needed to set the mine off is around 220 pounds. U.S. Army sources, some of those say around 440, but most sources say the low end is 220. This fuse, the UTMA-1, is used on other Yugoslavian mines that I've already covered, such as the TM-5. There is the safety note on that fuse that the fuse is too sensitive to handle unless the safety pin is installed, because the actual pressure required to set off this fuse is extremely low. It does not take much to push in that little plunger and set that fuse off. So safety message is out there everywhere on those fuses. Never handle them without a safety pin installed. There is a secondary fuse well on this mine, which is located off to the side of the center of the mine here. And we do see that there is a booster in both locations. If I had to guess the composition of the booster, it is probably tetryl. There was no information listed on that in different sources. Now, steps on installation. First, go through, inspect the mine, and inspect the fuse. The fuse comes separate for this mine. It comes in a separate package. Everything passes inspection. You're then going to transport it to the area where it's going to be located. Prep the location for where this mine's going to be put in. If it's going to be surface laid, you just clear a little spot that you can hide it in the vegetation. If it is going to be buried, you're going to dig a hole up to the top of the ribs here. You want a max of around 2 centimeters or around an inch, inch and a half of dirt over the top. Once the hole is prepped and you are not installing it with an anti-handling device, you will put the mine in the hole. You will then unscrew the fuse well cap from the center of the mine. You will then screw in the TMA-1 fuse into the fuse well. At that point, you will remove the safety pin. Just pulls right out to the side. Once the safety pin's removed, reinstall the fuse well cap. The mine is now armed. Cover it up and camouflage. Now, removal on this mine is just as simple as putting it in. First, you're going to check the area, make sure that there's no protective mines around it, no booby traps. And if the area is clear, you're then going to locate where the mine is. It will be very hard to detect because it is a low metallic mine. The only metal in these things, once the fuse is in, is the blasting cap, which is attached to the fuse, and the blasting cap body is made out of aluminum, so it will be extremely hard to locate. But once you locate the mine, you're going to check for anti-handling devices. You're going to check around the sides. If none's located, you're going to check underneath. If an anti-handling device is located, stop there, destroy the mine. If no anti-handling device is located, you will stabilize the mine again, remove the fuse well cap. You will then reinsert the safety pin into the fuse. You will then unscrew the fuse from the fuse well. You will then replace the fuse well cap. You will then remove the mine from the hole using a grapnel hook and rope, making sure not to accidentally set off that fuse that you're holding. Once the mine is out of the hole, clean it off, turn in the mine and the fuse to the mine dump for later reuse or for disposal. Pretty basic, pretty simple. Now, I have come across references that there is a TM-1 and a TM-1 alpha. Difference on them? Nothing from what I could find. When I look up either version interchangeably, it goes back and gives you the exact same information. So the difference between them, I have no idea. Maybe it's a location of a fuse well or just something with the construction, but overall it looks like they're the exact same. These mines are very old, and because of having a TNT filler, I would not trust them if I were to come across them, because TNT has a tendency to degrade with time and become very, very unstable. So if anyone were to ever come across a batch of these for potential use, I wouldn't. I would destroy them in place. I would be very leery even to remove them from the location where they're stored because of how unstable TNT gets with age. But there you go. The former Yugoslavian TM-1 low metallic anti-tank mine. Now, for all my engineer brothers in the Patriot and militia movements, always remember essays.